Welcome, a happy Tuesday, to the Marlboro Township Board of Education regular meeting, November 15th, 2022, 7 p.m. at the Marlboro Memorial Middle School. Good evening, Vin. Can you please call to order?
Sure. Good evening, Dr. Heller.
Good evening.
Roll call, Mrs. Amster.
Here.
Mrs. Branch. Mr. Petruno.
Here.
Ms. Piernick.
Here.
Mrs. Rosado.
Here.
Mrs. Shrem.
Here.
Mrs. Salachi.
Here.
Mrs. Trafasi.
Here.
And Dr. Heller.
Here. I'm going to now read Sunshine Law. Be advised that this meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975 Sunshine Law, and that adequate notice of the date, time, and agenda has been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the news transcript, and has been posted and filed with the Marlboro Township Clerk. Copies have been sent. Copies have also been sent to each district school and other area newspapers in accordance with the law. I am not going to read in full, but will bring your attention to statement of videotaping in front of the board and behind the board of public portion of the Board of Education meetings, public comment statements, no smoking or vaping on school grounds. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Positive quote: happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the lights. J.K. Rowling. Okay. Before we move forward, I'd like to congratulate those who won the recent election for the upcoming Board of Education. Congratulations. Now on to student recognition. Dr. Hibbs, the kindergarten ABC, who's doing that? Because we were going to, yeah.
I don't think we have yeah, we have, no.
Okay, so, you have?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. This month's Student Impact centers around digital citizenship. So across the country, Digital Citizenship Week is celebrated the third week in October. It's dedicated to teaching good digital citizenship. So all students will be able to navigate various technology platforms and digital tools safely as responsible digital citizens. Here at MTPS, each school offered many unique opportunities for students to engage in lessons to ensure students are using technology in positive and impactful ways. We have a short video for you in usual fashion for you to, for us to demonstrate how our students are practicing good digital citizenship.
Digital Citizenship Week was celebrated the third week in October. It's dedicated to teaching students how to navigate various technology platforms and use digital tools safely and responsibly. Specifically, elementary tech coaches dedicated this time to work with the kindergarten through 5th grade students in developing the skills they need to use devices safely, ethically, and effectively. MTPS recognizes the importance of empowering students to think critically and participate responsibly in the digital world. Digital citizenship is promoted throughout the entire year at MTPS through media literacy and social and emotional learning skills.
about the kitchen? Yeah, okay. Okay, so if you could talk about the kitchens are seasoned with love?
So, very happy to announce, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay. That Chartwell's is partnering with Marlboro Recreation, and what we're going to do is we're going to deliver turkey dinners to our community senior citizens who want to cook their own meal. So on Sunday, November 20th, at the middle school, we're going to prepare baskets. Registration deadline is Tuesday the 15th. Pickup is for the November 22nd, and all in, we expect that we can really help out 150 families. So massive shout out to Chartwell's, to our employees, and then also Recreation, and we've all partnered to make this event come alive to make a difference in Marlboro. So it should be a great event.
That's great.
Fantastic. Didn't we do that year?
We did a little differently. So
Okay.
last time we did it in Old Middles, and we
Right.
put everything together pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Before we begin public comments, wait, hold on.
Can I go one more, Dr. Haller?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just want to point out that on Friday, November 4th, Tofino Central was recognized as a Blue Ribbon School in Washington, D.C. So just want to thank Mrs. Erin Fuschetti and Dr. Stradek. We all were there and accepted on behalf of all the incredible teachers at Tofino and students. So it's a remarkable accomplishment. They were one of only just 100 schools, or 100-ish schools in the nation that were recognized.
We should be very proud. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
awesome. Thank you for
Yeah,
going
of
to
course.
that. Actually, we're going to go to announcements. VIN, building maintenance personnel, and motor vehicle abstracts, please.
Sure, all abstracts were run and all have privileges in good standing.
Okay, and okay, so before we go to public comments. Okay. Everyone that, okay, before we go to public comments, I'd like to remind everyone that this is an opportunity for members of the public to address the board. It is not used to disrupt the meeting or interrupt anyone at the microphone. If anyone calls out from the audience or disrupts the meeting, you will receive no second warning, and this will be your first warning. If it continues, then you will be asked to leave. As always, we look forward to a respectful dialogue and conduct board education business in an efficient and effective manner. Videotaping is both in front and behind the board. Those who wish to speak should state their full name and place of residence. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Please use a timer in front to be mindful of your time. Members of the public should be respectful and avoid back and forth or debate with administration, professionals, or board members. Responding to the inquiry or comment. Again, no back and forth. Be respectful and civil. School board members and administration will withhold comment until after public comments. Vin.
Sure, first up is Mr. John Adley.
Thank you. John Adley, Peregrine Drive, Morganville. First of all, I would like to thank the outgoing members of the board for the service. I would like to congratulate the new ones. And I would like to remind all of us again, now that the elections is over, what this is all about. This is about the kids, our kids. This is about education, not indoctrination. This is about the safety of the kids. This is about the teachers, not the unions. The community has spoken for 2 years in a row. I stood in this place a year ago and I implored all the members here to listen to what the community is saying. So please, this is the second chance. Parents don't need to spend their evenings here to remind you what you are here for. You are elected for the kids, not for special agendas. Thank you.
Thank you. Vin?
Sure, next up, Mr. Paul Finns.
I want to congratulate those that just got elected. 6 years ago I ran, but didn't win. Many things that I spoke about 6 years ago have not been recognized. First of all, this district is running very heavy with supervisors that are high paid. And when I went ahead and I read in the papers that we were laying off people that were making $15 to $20 an hour, I'm saying, what is wrong with this district? This district has been failing the community. When I got here 33 years ago, we were in the top 10 in the state. Today, I'm sure if we take a look, we'll be lucky to be around 100. Things have got to change, whether it has to be from the top or from the bottom. The cheap seats have spoken.
Vin.
Next up, Mr. Moshe Grant.
Good evening, board members and members of the community. Moshe Grant, 8 Sudbury Road. Wasn't planning to have a speech today, so I'm not going to. I want to congratulate those who won a seat on the Board of Ed. I'm sure you'll do a phenomenal job. You're incredible people, and I would like to thank those who've been sitting here and serving the community as well, whichever way it worked out. I have actually a question to the district attorney. I don't know if he's allowed to answer or not, but I'm still going to answer it. So allegedly, last week, our head of security over here told the police officer that I was disrupting the meeting, that I was talking back and forth, that I was refusing to stop talking, that I was told to be quiet, not to talk to the board, that I was told to be quiet twice. I was told by a board president to stop talking, and I got into an argument with one of the board members. So you were here. I'm just wondering if this is something you saw. Thank you so much.
Vin.
Sorry, that is everyone on my list.
Thank you very much. Administrators and board members will respond afterward. I'd like to make a motion to close public comments. Do I have a second? Jess? Any discussion? I see none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Would anyone from the board or the administration like to comment? Okay, thank you. Joe? Nope, thank you. I see none. We're going to move forward. Dr. Hibbs, communication, please.
No, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Hibbs, harassment, intimidation, bullying, HIB report for October 6th to October 12th. Did I get that right? 2000? No.
13th through November 2nd. I got it.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries. 6 incidents, sir.
Thank you. Meeting dates, Tuesday, December 20th, 2022, regular meeting. Kathleen, can you please read approval of minutes?
Approval of minutes. Be it resolved that the minutes of the following meetings be approved as submitted. July 26, 2022, regular and executive. I so move.
Excellent. Do I have a second? Jill, any discussion? I see none. Vin, roll call, please.
Mrs. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Petruno?
Yes.
Ms. Piernick?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosato?
Yes.
Mrs. Shrem?
Yes.
Mrs. Salachi?
Yes.
Mrs. Strafasi?
Yes.
Mrs. Amster?
Yes.
And Dr. Heller?
Yes. Vin, Secretary Business Report, monthly certification and payroll certification, please.
Yep, so this is just the board secretary's certification and payroll for the month of October.
Thank you so much. Trish, can you please read financial and business operation matters?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, transfers. 2, list of bills, 3, travel, 4, harassment, intimidation, bullying, HIB report, 5, acceptance of a child assault prevention CAP grant for the 22-23 school year, 6, amended resolution approval of tuition for student 22-23 school year, 7, school bus emergency evacuation drill report, 8, approval of tuition student for 22-23 school year, 9, approval of agreement resident consultants LLC, 10, acceptance of amended IDEA allocations for the 22-23 school year, 11, acceptance of amended ESEA allocations for the 22-23 school year, 12, state contract purchases. I so move.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second? Excuse me, do I have a second? Jen, any discussion? Christina?
Just have a question regarding number 11, the acceptance of the amended ESEA allocations. Do we know yet where we're going to be allocating that specifically within the district?
Yeah, so the grant was submitted. This is to include the carryover amounts that were left over from last year, so that's why it says amended. This was originally approved, I believe, back in May or June. But most of the entitlements, so for like Title III is for your ESL population, goes to supplies programs for that certain student set. Title IV is your more STEM, more technology initiative, more fused that way, mainly supplies. And then Title II, Part A, is more for staff retainage and professional development, so a lot of that money gets spent in programs that way. And then Title I is for your at-risk students, and I believe that's for 2 schools, and that's split up among the 2 schools.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I see none. Vin, roll call, please.
Roll call, Mrs. Strafasi,
Yes.
Mrs. Amster,
Yes.
Mr. Petruno,
Yes.
Ms. Piernick,
Yes.
Mrs. Rosado,
Yes.
Mrs. Shrem,
Yes.
Mrs. Salachi,
Yes.
Mrs. Branch,
Yes.
and Dr. Heller.
Yes. Aldo, can you please read personnel matters?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, retirement. 2, resignation. 3, employment certificated staff. 4, employment registered nurse. 5, employment assistant supervisor of school safety and security. 6, employment bus drivers. 7, amended salary, certificated staff. 8, amended start date, certificated staff. 9, transfers, non-certificated staff. 10, extracurricular activities advisor. 11, amended extracurricular activities advisors. 12, stipend, mentor teachers. 13, amended stipend, mentor teachers. 14, student practicum. 15, substitute teachers. 16, substitute bus drivers. 17, paid medical disability leave. 18, unpaid leave of absence. 19, amended resolution leave dates. And I so move.
Thank you. Any, do I have a second? Christina, any discussion? I see none. Vin, roll call, please.
Mrs. Shrem,
Yes.
Mrs. Salachi,
Yes.
Mrs. Strafasi,
Yes.
Mrs. Amster.
5 no, the rest yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Branch,
Yes.
Ms. Piernick,
I'm abstaining from number 9 and the rest yes.
thank you. Mrs. Rosado,
No to number 5, yes to everything else.
thank you. Mr. Petruno,
No for number 5, yes for everything else.
and Dr. Heller.
Yes. Mr. Balone, do you have any, do you have a letter to read?
I do.
Thank you.
We have one retirement on the agenda for Mrs. Matilda Rourke, who we know as Maddie. Mrs. Maddie Rourke began her career in Brooklyn as a teacher of the deaf in a K-8 building. In September of 1998, Maddie joined the Marlboro teaching staff as a special education teacher assigned to Marlboro Elementary School. In 2003, she transferred to Marlboro Middle and continued her tenure as a special education teacher. She spent the majority of her middle school assignment supporting 6th grade students in an ICR setting, in addition to assignments as the resource room teacher providing instruction in literacy, written expression, and math. Maddie served our staff as a team leader and as a committee member to review literacy curriculum. It has been said that Maddie's enthusiasm for teaching and learning is contagious. She encourages children to take on the challenge of learning and acknowledges that everyone can be successful. Throughout her many years, Maddie continues to support the children in programs with grace, a cheerful smile, and a positive attitude. Maddie and her husband David have recently moved to the beach. She looks forward to taking vacations, spending lots of time with her grandchildren, John and Gabriella, reading and walking on the beach. She's appreciative of the time she has spent teaching children in Marlboro and the staff who have become her colleagues and friends. We wish Maddie every happiness and great health as she begins her retirement.
Thank you very much. That's 25 years of service. Thank you so much for her service, and good luck in your retirement. So now we're going to be moving on, folks, to the committee reports. Not sure if every committee has met or what's going on, so I'm just going to go down the line. Susie, Building, Ground, and Beautification?
We haven't had a meeting in a while.
Okay, thank you. Jess, Communications?
Yes, so we had a meeting today, and we talked about the concept of town hall. So Mark, our other attorney, was at the meeting, and we talked about 2 different scenarios that I want to bring to the board and get.
Jess, I'm so sorry. Can you speak up a little?
Sorry.
Thanks so much.
So we talked about 2 different scenarios that we want to get input on from the other board members. The first thing is we would replace one of the workshop meetings with a town hall meeting, and we would have to advertise it at least 5 days in advance as a board meeting with a specific topic for the community for us to do a little presentation on, and then have feedback from community members with back and forth. The other option was having mini committees like we have meet with the community to have back and forth. So there's pros and cons to each, right? So if we have, let's just say it's the Building and Grounds Committee, right? And 3 of the members attend, what if other board members want to attend? Because if we have 5 board members attend, it's considered to be a board meeting. So that's something we have to consider. We talked about possible topics. 2 topics that we came up with were budget, buildings and grounds. A survey will be sent to the community to vote on which one they would like to see. Is it budget? Is it building and grounds? Also open to discussion to add if we want to add another topic of discussion for the town hall meetings. And that was pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions? Christina?
So you're saying that the committee met and discussed budget and building and grounds being 2 of the topics, or is it just for example?
That's for example.
Okay, 'cause
something that the attorney did tell us is we have to make sure that it's something that we as board members can discuss, not something that's like through the administrative, something that's done on a daily basis. So those are just 2 examples that we want to have for the community, but we're open to having like another one for people to vote on.
Okay, so if we had a survey go out, it would ultimately, I mean, the community should kind of be able to give their input as to what topics they may want to discuss, and then we could see whether it's within the guidelines of something a board can discuss, or if it's day-to-day operations.
Yeah, I think Aldo wants to say something. He was in the meeting.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, so essentially what was discussed was that I think what the attorney was, well, Mr. Zuderman was trying to explain was just to basically to make sure that the topics that we were offering were something that fall within like the board's purview. you know, it would kind of defeat the purpose of the town hall if we were, you know, discussing something that falls outside of the realm of what the board can, you know, do. So he just said to keep that in mind while discussing, you know, two of the topics, like Jessica had said, were the ones that she had mentioned, you know, the budget and buildings and grounds. You know, and then the other thing was we wanted to just open it up to, you know, the board tonight to see if anyone else had any other, you know, topics that they thought may fit well, you know, that can be included on the, you know, on I don't know if it's gonna be a survey or a questionnaire that goes out to parents.
The survey would also be sent out for both town hall as well as parent academies. Go ahead, Trish.
So just, I think, we talked about ideas, and then we also said that there could be like an other, and then that, you know, anyone can write it in, right? So that way, we're giving some guidance of things that fall within the board purview, but if anybody wanted to write in something, my concern about that was the idea of the town hall is to be listening. And so if people write in things that are not in our purview and we're saying no, 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 could that be construed as us not, you know, is that not us not listening? So that was only my concern about that idea of writing it in. Would someone feel slighted because they wrote something in and we didn't actually discuss that? But I think the general idea was to encourage conversation, and so that people that are writing in, we should hear what they're interested in if the idea isn't already listed as, you know, something in the multiple choice column. So just to kind of add to that.
Perhaps if we put in the description in the survey all the things that we can possibly talk about, and then have that like already listed for them so they can choose from there for that other option.
We did discuss that. So when the survey goes out for both Parent Academy and the town hall, that way you're not solicited with too many emails, that will be in there. We just wanted to see if any other board members had any other particular ideas. There would be 3 to 4 options. The first 2 are the ones we discussed. Third one, possibly if anybody else had any recommendations. And then the 4th option would be for people to input something else that they would like after we give the disclaimer of what the board can and can't do.
I want to make sure I'm understanding. So you said parent academies?
Parent academies are different.
Yeah,
so
what
that
is
would
that?
be like a presentation about mental health or resources that you can attend, or ESL, or you know, what to do in special ed.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's different, but instead of a school parent academy, it would be a district-wide parent academy that we had talked about earlier in the summer.
So you're talking about doing both, right?
Correct, both. We just happened to, that was on our agenda as well, the parent academies as well as that town hall. I'm just saying, we talked about sending out a survey so that the community would have input for both town hall as well as the parent academy.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Jess, we did communications. Christina, curriculum, anything?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Dr. Hibbs, would you mind talking about the policy when we met? Or yeah.
So we had a policy meeting probably a few weeks back now, and we discussed the concept of QR codes. That was the main purpose of that discussion, and we were going to put into the regulation the concept of no QR codes at all without explicit permission from building leadership to make sure that we didn't have just random QR codes anywhere in our district.
And that's now in the regulations, correct?
Yeah, it
will be.
It will be. Yep.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that.
Of course.
Appreciate that. Jen, we have nothing on safety, security. And Kathleen, anything from special education?
We met, I think 3 weeks ago it was.
3 weeks.
Was it? I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember. I know. I don't remember. Phase 2 of communication boards will be finished by the end of the year. So we've already installed communication boards at some of the schools. So the remaining schools will be done by the end of this year. They're saying spring, but I just kind of say by the end of the school year, just in case something's delayed in shipping. Social groups will now be happening in all the schools. So that's amazing. Also, CPAG has advocated very well with administration, with Dr. Blair, and we can finally say that the IEPs will now be present in Genesis. So that, and to be honest with you, for Freehold Regional, that's been there. Like the Genesis looks very different from the high school, so I don't know, anyway, they're gonna be present there, which is amazing. So they'll be there, parents can see it, it's great. And also for our preschool families, we're gonna be having now progress reports as well.
Oh, that's
So
great.
parents don't have to wait till the second marking period, because that's a long time to wait when the, so it's kudos to Angie and crew. Great job for everybody, so thanks.
Thank you. That looks good. That sounds really good. And any of the anything? There were other things brought up. Did anything come of those?
I have notes on that for CPAG.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Kathleen, we're going to move forward with you with organization, Freehold Regional High School, please.
There's a lot for Freehold Regional.
Go right
Their
ahead.
last meeting was October 27th. The magnet applications, the applications were due November 9th. The entrance exams are to be held on December 3rd. The district is considering starting a cybersecurity pathway for students since a grant was received for it. The program could be at Marlboro High School, but will be open to other students via virtual learning, remote learning. They take classes in cybersecurity starting in junior year, and then they graduate with a certificate. So that's cool, right? Yeah. SAT prep courses, they've done this for a few years now, the region. It's going to be $100 per student. The classes will be in front of the March, May, June, and August 2023 SAT dates. It's 4 weeks long, 8 classes. District was awarded $59,000 contract to Ross Haber and Associates to perform a transportation study. So, we've all heard about the S2 cuts to the region. They're really hurting with transportation. Like the costs now are, these are not my words, I'm literally quoting, through the roof. They can't get bus drivers, and some contractors have been raising rates as much as 200%. So the region is actually considering, because of this survey they're doing now, they might have to cut transportation. Like, it's that desperate for the region. So they're really hurting for transportation. So that was all new to me. Yeah, that was it from Mr. Messinger. So thank you so much.
Can I ask you a question with that? So with the transportation, when you say cutting it, that means like they're thinking of outsourcing it, or what do you mean by cutting? That makes me scared.
That's a good question, because this was not my word.
Having a student who goes to Howell, that's
seriously, his
terrifying.
3 words were, seriously cutting busing. Those were his words, not mine.
No, I understand. I'm just curious.
To me, cutting sounds like it's getting the axe.
Well,
like
there are
you're
some
gonna-
districts that have like a radius.
Like, right.
And,
if you're,
and what they will do is they will, if you live within 2
Courtesy
miles,
busing.
you're
Right.
cut.
you're cut.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's probably the direction.
That's what
I can see that happening
I can
with,
see
like,
that
the
happening
borough.
too.
I can see that happening.
Right, yeah. But that's a
100%.
concern, because even from Marlboro High School to walk, it's a lot, it's 79, it's a lot. So
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know,
scary.
they're hoping that this becomes like positive, but I don't know, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Christina, anything from Marlboro Township Alliance?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Jen, anything from Monmouth County School Board Association?
Yes, so we had our meeting on November 3rd, and they wanted to remind all board members to get your governance trainings in by the end of the year. And let's see, they had a board recognition for mastered board certification for Howell Township. So their entire board got the certificate. And then November 19th is the delegate assembly. So that is that.
Thank you so much. Trish, anything from municipal government?
I've been really busy with my parents' issues, so I apologize. I won't have anything
That's fine.
reported for both.
That's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Family first.
There's a holiday fair this weekend, right? I know, I'm just thinking of
Please,
anything to do with
save
the
me.
government. No,
Please save
as
me.
my husband
Yes.
will tell you, I spend way too much money at that farmer's market. They're having a special market on Sunday before Thanksgiving at the old, was it the Farms Extra Cross? Thank
Yeah,
you.
staff.
Yes, from 9 to 1, and there's signs up. So this
Thank
is
you,
your
Jill.
chance to use local vendors and buy really good jams and butters and hot sauce and bread and what else, James? I don't know. They have alcohol.
Shop.
They've got it all.
Shop till you drop.
Before
There you go.
Thanksgiving. Yes.
Thank you.
So there you go. I got that.
Thank
for
you. I
Thank,
appreciate it.
thank you for the teamwork, guys. I appreciate it. Susie, anything from PTO, PTA?
No, not since our last meeting.
No, it's okay. And then Jess, CPAG and Scope, please?
You got it.
Or you combine it, whatever,
yeah.
however you want to play it out.
So both Scope and CPAG met with Special Services leadership on November 1st. Kathleen covered a lot, so I'm sorry if this is repetitive. Special Services updated both Scope and CPAG on district happenings, such as the new communication boards that were installed at Dugan, Tofino, Robertsville, and the Early Learning Center, as well as the plan to expand to Morrell and Asher by the end of this school year. Special Services was very busy during professional development in October when the CST learned about various mental health resources, teachers learned about different specialized curricula, and instructional assistants had differentiated training. In addition, we discussed a survey that will go out to all parents whose students receive services regarding what topics they would like to learn about during the 2 special education parent academies that will be hosted this year. Be on the lookout for the survey as we discussed. After receiving feedback from CPAG, the district was excited to announce that parents will be able to see finalized IEPs in Genesis through the district parent portal, and that progress reports will include pre-K this year for all 4 marking periods. Scope has 2 grants that went out this year for teachers and staff to apply for. For one of the grants, they have collaborated with MEF, the Marlboro Education Foundation, to distribute the funds from last year's Walk for Change. Speaking of Walk for Change, both district leadership and Scope are looking forward to planning Disabilities Awareness Month in April and doing another Walk for Change. More details to come as we get closer. And after speaking with both organizations, district leadership will be working with building administration and each school's PTO, PTA to continue creating inclusive events for all learners. For more information about Scope, please visit scopemarlboro.ptboard.com, and for CPAG, please visit Marlboro NJ CPAG.com or .com, MarlboroCPAGNJ.com. That is all I have. The next meeting for both organizations as well as the special ed committee will be on February 1st.
Thank you so much. Jen, anything from Marlboro Educational Foundation?
No, we have a lot to come, but nothing right now.
Thank you. We're going to move on to school liaisons. Aldo, anything from Asher Homes?
Yes, I do. If I could, though, just before we move forward, with the committee stuff, like Jess was saying, with the topics, if any board members don't have any recommendations for topics like tonight, if it's possible, if you guys could maybe just send an email to, I just because I don't want to let the meeting end and then we were the focus of today's committee meeting. I think we'd like to proceed and get something in the books for the town hall. So I just want to make sure we get the topics in. It's fine if you guys weren't prepared to give opinions this evening, but if you think of something and you could just email us and let us know so we can get that in the books and get the survey out and get the town hall scheduled.
Thank you.
So the 3 people are Aldo, myself, and Tricia, please.
Yeah, and so if you could just let us know.
Can you send an email to the board just to remind them?
Not to the whole board, but separate emails with links to the agenda.
Whatever works for you. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
And then as far as Asher Homes, they have on November 1st was the fire prevention assemblies. November 16th is the Chick-fil-A dine out. On November 4th and December 2nd are Spirit Days for Asher Homes. 11/14, so the 14th to the 18th is Mini Golf Mania in the gym. On the 21st, Mayor Hornick is going to be visiting the 2nd grade classes. The 22nd is the PTA pie party for the staff. And then there's some stuff in December too. On the 1st, there's a PTA author visit. The 6th, they have a grade 5 snack sale. And then there's the holiday boutique on the 13th and 14th, along with the STEAM My Gym. It's physical activities related to science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And then the last thing is December 22nd, there's a PTA sweets and treats for the staff. So that's everything for Asher.
Thank you. Jess, anything about Abbott?
Dr. Elk, can I jump in for 2 seconds? Mr. Petruno, that Steam the Gym is amazing.
Yeah, I was
it is
reading it, I wasn't
amazing. So if
sure.
anybody wants to see that, so what happens is the whole gym gets taken over, and they do all kinds of interactive movement, but tie things to Steam. It's coding. It's so amazing. So if anybody wants to see that, just let us know, or if you can't come, we can take some pictures and some videos for you.
It's on, so that's, it says here it's the 19th to the 22nd, is that right? It's all 3 days, or, I could double check with Ms. Somi
they
and get
set
back
the
to
whole
everyone.
gym up. It's a
So it's
whole
possible,
gym setup.
yeah,
so
it's
it's
probably
possible
3
for a
days
week.
in a row then,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that sounds like something cool, if,
It's
if
amazing.
anyone's around, then take it, check it out.
Board meetings.
That's awesome.
So at Abbott, there was a really cute book fair, and parents were able to come one night and shop with the kids. And there were teachers there reading stories, so it was very nice. It was hosted by the PTO, so thank you. Value cards, if you haven't sent back payment or returned your card, please do so ASAP. The November Dine Out is actually tomorrow at Texas Roadhouse, so please be sure to mention Abbott. There will also be a November Five Below fundraiser from November 25th to December 1st. There were little handouts sent out that you have to present to the cashiers in order for Abbott to get a certain percentage of the sales returned to the PTO. There's a Charleston Wrap fundraiser. Visit registercw.com and enter our organization ID 16944 to start shopping and sharing so that the PTO gets some kickbacks. Reminders, the school store is happening. Send in some change with your children. And the holiday boutique will be held from November 29th to December 1st. So be on the lookout for volunteer opportunities. And thank you to the PTO for having a fire safety assembly as well as hosting the pumpkin patch and the Halloween class parties.
Thank you. Trish from Josefina? Do you have the FINA?
No,
No.
not
Who has
on
the FINA?
Memorial.
Jen, I'm sorry.
No problem. All right. So, for Defino, I have that, as you know, Dr. Hibbs, Dr. Straddick, and Mrs. Fischetti went down to D.C. last week for their award ceremony accepting the National Blue Ribbon Schools Award. And then Theater Week kicked off on Monday, and this year's performance is the Pied Piper's Wild West Show, and has 100 students participating. The live show will be this Friday at MMS. There's a food drive, and we have been blown away by the generosity this year. Not only do we have enough to feed our 40 families over the full Thanksgiving holiday weekend, we will also donate extra food to the local food bank. We will launch our gift drive right after Thanksgiving. Fifth graders are going on a field trip to Washington Crossing State Park on Thursday. Fall picture days are this Wednesday and Thursday. There's Dine Out at Burger Boys this Thursday, the 17th, and Philly Pretzel Sale on Wednesday, the 23rd. Then there's an ugly sweater contest in December. Each class will design a cardboard ugly sweater, and students will vote for their favorite with spare change. All proceeds will be donated to Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation to fund research that brings together treatments and cures to children with cancer. Winning classes get a hot chocolate party. And then there's a holiday boutique on December 12th through the 16th. And if anyone wants to see the picture of the Blue Ribbon Award ceremony, I have that here too.
Thank you so much. Jill, anything from Dugan?
Yes. And thank you to Robin, who always treats me the most beautiful prints out. So thank you so much, Robin. The school store and spirit day is Friday, November 18th. The Turkey Trot fundraiser is scheduled for Wednesday, the 23rd during the school day. Parents can purchase spectator tickets for the event, and donations can be made via credit card on the PTA's website at duganelementary.ptboard.com. Theater Week is November 28th to December 1st for rehearsals, with the show on December 2nd. Students can register to participate through the 18th via the PTA's website. The food drive is taking place through November 18th. Non-perishable food items, gift cards, and frozen turkeys can be donated. Winter apparel sale is open on the PTA's website through November 19th. Winter Wonderland catalog fundraiser is currently running through November 21st. Finally, the holiday vendor fair will be taking place on December 3rd and 4th. If you have a business and would like to have a table on one or both days, please contact the PTA to participate in this great fundraiser. Community members can help give back to the fellow community members and the PTA. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Susie, anything from Marlboro Elementary?
Yes. Okay, let's see, where do I begin? So Delicious Orchards Pie Sale, pickup is November 22nd. Our annual food drive is going on through the 23rd. We also donated to DeFino's food drive. We have our school store going on November 18th. Every Friday is School Spirit Day. Let's see, what else do we have going on? We have our PTO meeting November 30th. We've got our snack sale on November 23rd. Thank you. And that's it for November. December, I don't have too much at my fingertips other than I know the Holiday Boutique is the week of the 12th, I believe. That's it from around.
Thank you. Trish, anything from Marlboro Memorial?
All I can say is that well, first off, I'll apologize to my PTO because I did not get a chance to reach out to them to get their list. But I do know that the yearbook is for sale, so if anybody needs a yearbook, please reach out to buy that. And I was trying to find online if I could find something from the PTO that posted something. So again, I apologize. Does anybody have anybody here? No. Okay. Sorry.
It's all good.
It's okay.
Kathleen, anything from Marlboro Middle School? Thank you.
8th grade committee meeting is tomorrow at 7:30, and if you registered, a Zoom link will be forwarded to you. 7th grade event on December 8th from 4 to 6, Climb Zone in Howell. The book fair is coming to MMS December 7th to the 10th, and volunteers are needed. 8th grade Krispy Kreme fundraiser, another donut fundraiser. Deadline to order is December 5th. Pickup will be on Thursday, December 14th from 4 to 5:30. Parent-teacher conferences will be scheduled via Genesis. Keep an eye out for more information. And the next board meeting for MMS PCO meeting is January 10th at 9:45.
Thank you so much. Christina, anything from Robertsville?
Yes, thank you to everyone who participated in the Thanksgiving Pie fundraiser from Wimrock Orchards. They will be contacting you. There'll be a communication coming out for pickup times. Pickup will be on November 22nd, so stay tuned for a communication from the PTO. The Thanksgiving food drive ended today. There were collection bins in each class to be donated to the families in need in Marlboro. Their walkathon still needs support. It ends Friday, November 18th, but final donations will be accepted until November 28th. All money raised goes directly to Robertsville and the children and students there. And then finally, if you are in any need of Robertsville gear, there's a holiday sale for all sweatshirts, hats, pajama pants from November 7th to November 30th. Everything is 20% off.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on to old business. Anyone have any old business? Jen?
I do. I just wanted to say I went to the New Jersey School Board Association workshop on October 24th to 26th, and they had a lot of classes to take, and it was amazing. They were so good and so eye-opening. I also got to see on Tuesday our DeFino students. They came down and they presented, so it was Maya and Gabriella, and they presented the Steam Tank Challenge. They blew me away, and I hope that they get it patented so I can buy it because it was amazing, their whole presentation. They were so good, and the people who asked them questions, they were able to answer their questions no problem. It was, I mean, for...
These are elementary kids.
They're elementary, right. I mean,
they got grilled by, it was Rutgers
oh yeah,
Science,
Rutgers
right?
was there, right,
Yeah, it was a full-on professor who would press and ask questions and really make them think on their feet and really hard questions. They did a great job.
The Rutgers guy was really impressed.
What was the product?
So it's taking the air
Yeah.
and we have to get the presentation.
Yeah, it was a filter.
And
It was a big filter on a very small scale, pulling out. Was it CO2? It was pulling out, Mike?
Yeah,
It
with
was
the
pulling
carbon
out CO2. But the reason why they loved it is because they felt that it would be really a viable product for, and actually, Mrs. Bone was back there.
Oh, Farrah's here. Farrah can tell us
We
all
never
about
stop
it.
you from talking. You want
to yeah, come to the come to the podium.
Justice.
Because this filter, they were able to put, you can use it and it's biodegradable, so they can put it in the ground and it'll help the plants in the future too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need this for my garden.
I was actually going to come up and thank you for coming to watch them, because your presence, along with Dr. Hibbs, Mr. Paul, and Mr. Caravello, Mr. Ballone, made the world of difference. So the Steam Tank Challenge put out by the New Jersey School Boards Association challenges the students to be innovative and creative in solving real-world problems, and they have different categories for the age groups. So this was the elementary age group that our students placed second in the state, and the district last year received a cash award. The whole premise behind it, and it is patent pending, and since we are streaming, I'm not going to give it all away, but the whole premise is they created a device using household items, where they did order a filter off of Amazon, where it absorbs, they made a solar-powered fan that took in the air, and through the filter, it siphoned out the carbon dioxide to reduce global warming. In addition, that filter is biodegradable. So every month or every couple of months, it's like with a twist, you can just open it up, plant that carbon filter in the soil in your gardens, and then it then releases the carbon dioxide into the soil, allowing plants to take in the carbon dioxide to push their growth even further. The gentleman from the Rutgers Consortium was so impressed because he's looking at this on a global scheme where you can take this device that they created and innovated and put it like outside, for example, landfills in Staten Island, and the carbon filter actually has the ability to absorb more than just the carbon dioxide in the air, but other harmful toxins. So it was a win-win on all levels, and they are in the process of getting their idea patented.
That's fantastic.
I really was so impressed with these girls. Because it's so hard to get up there and speak, so I just wanted to bring that up. They were amazing.
That's amazing.
And they had to present the whole thing too. There's a stage and they get pressed. It was
with
great.
a lot of people. There were a lot of people
And these
there.
are elementary kids. It's not even middle school. It's not even high school. That's
But could I also say, like, what a nice shout out, or I want to give a shout out to Farrah. Like, you were their teacher. You know, like, you should get, sometimes you need combinations. So congratulations to you too, Farrah. What a highlight. Right, but what a proud moment for a teacher in your career. So congratulations to you as well. Like, that's wonderful.
That was cool. Amazing. Thank you, Jen, for that. Any other old business, excuse me. Any new business, ladies and gentlemen? Kathleen.
I just wanted to give a huge shout out to MMS. It's my home school, so I'm a little partial. Anybody who knows me knows I'm super passionate about the armed services in this country. Two of my children are currently in the ROTC program at Cold Snack, and MMS does this amazing Veterans Day presentation. Like, I was crying. I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. They have Mr. McCann, Ms. Nowicki, they have staff come up and share their experiences of people in their lives who served this country bravely, and the emotion, and it was just, and it's great because the ROTC cadets and Major puts in former Marlboro students in the procession. My son led them this year. Anyway, but it was just, it's in such a political time where sometimes, you don't want to support the military. They just do. It's just so beautiful to see, like, the love for this country that Marlboro Middle School does. It was amazing, so kudos to them. It was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony.
It's very nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Any other new business?
Dr. Heller, just wanted to give everybody a heads up. Our next meeting will be our first budget presentation for the 23-24 budget. Also, just wanted to congratulate the winners of the election. The certified results are forthcoming, so they will be read at a future meeting, either next one or January at the reorg.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. So before we go to begin public comments, I'd like to remind everyone that this is an opportunity for members of the public to address the board. It is not used to disrupt the meeting or to interrupt anyone at the microphone. If anyone calls out from the audience or disrupts the meeting, you will receive no warning, as this is your first warning. If it continues, you will be asked to leave. As always, we look forward to be respectful for the respectful dialogue and to conduct Board of Education business in an efficient and effective manner. For those who wish to speak, should state their full name and place of residence. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Please use the timer in front to be mindful of the time. Members of the public should be respectful and avoid back and forth or debate with administration professionals or board members responding to inquiry or comments. Again, no back and forth, be respectful and civil. School board members and administrators will withhold comment until after the public comments. Vin?
Sure. First, Mr. Steve Friedman.
Hi everyone, Steve Friedman. My son attends DeFino. So I wanted to address the survey that was sent out by the district to Champions parents on November 2nd. Actually, I wanted to take a step back and ask a few questions. So, as I understand, the district collects a fee from Champions for using our school grounds. We'll call this rental income. Champions then charges parents a weekly fee to supervise their children at before and after care. With this survey, the district is effectively passing through the costs of armed police directly to these families. So here are my questions. Number one, what is happening to this rental income that the district collects from Champions? Are those funds being used to offset the cost of security? If not, why not? Where's this income going? Number two, how did you arrive at the cost of this additional police security? The initial estimate provided to us in July was very close to the figure in the survey November 2nd. And I remember giving pushback because the proposed shift schedule was not effective at all. You've already got 6 hours accounted for. You simply need to add another 5.5 hours to that shift. That's a total of 11.5 hours that need coverage. Also, I recall that $87.50 was the hourly rate used in the calculation, but we know that is significantly higher than the $35 an hour rate that the district pays for 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So please, can you clarify the rate that's being used in that calculation? Number three, I've repeatedly referenced the program at Old Bridge, where they run a nonprofit before and after care, and all of it, both the supervision part as well as the armed security, costs less than Champions. Why didn't this administration propose a similar program? The program is fully funded only by those families using the service, so there is no burden on any other taxpayers. It provides the armed officer coverage needed at a competitive price. Parents don't have to choose between safety and affordability. And finally, just my overall commentary on the proposal. In full disclosure, personally, I'm willing to pay the fee for my son. I'll write you a check today for the full amount. But many other before and after care parents are not able to do so. The costs are just too high for many of them. And they don't have to be this high for the reasons that I've just outlined. And as far as the survey, I don't even know where to begin. Every single survey sent out by this district is full of bias and pushes parents to answer in a way that benefits the district. Do you understand that by presenting such high costs to parents and then asking them if they feel Champions is safe, you're essentially forcing them to answer a certain way? It's called forced choice questioning, and it's a basic type of bias in survey design. Why didn't you send out a survey without any numbers asking if parents feel that whether their kids are safe in Champions compared with the rest of the school day? And at the end of the survey, you would offer your commitment to design the safest, most effective, most cost-effective program. Finally, I don't recall the district sending any surveys out in 2012 after Sandy Hook. Everyone was willing to keep our kids safe no matter how much it cost. But now we have 10 years worth of
10 more
data
seconds.
showing that nearly half of school shootings occurred precisely during before and after care hours. Please answer my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Vin?
Next up, Mr. Moshe Grant. Sit, skip. Next up, Mrs. Ashley McCormack.
Ashley McCormack, 16 Riley Road. I don't have everything written. I just wanted to clarify the policy that Dr. Hibbs and Dr. Heller were discussing regarding the QR codes. You said that they are going to be looked at, like any type of QR codes that come through the school will be looked at by school, somebody from the school building, not necessarily administration and not the Board of Ed. That concerns me a little bit because, to make it crystal clear, August 31st, Mrs. Nelwalkie sent an email to Dr. Hibbs with pictures of all of the posters, all of the lanyards, the badges, everything, including the QR codes, and nothing was done from August until last meeting. That's including all the emails that you got from parents with concerns. So it's concerning to me. I wish that something could be done in the policy that would explain or include the Board of Ed, maybe them making the decision when it comes to QR codes, because I feel like you didn't vet that QR code at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Vin?
Sure, next up is Mrs. Irene Dechterman.
Hello, Irene Dechterman, Morganville, New Jersey. This is actually just a couple of questions for the board, and I know you might not have the answers immediately, so that's fine as well. I wanted to know how many of our teachers attended the NJEA convention last week. Aside from that, I'd like to know if you're aware of any teachers that attended the Drag Queen Story Hour session, and are we planning to bring any of these Drag Queen Drag Time Story Hours into our schools? On a different topic, can you please tell me the name of the SEL program that our district is using? And this one is for Mr. Ballone. It's been a couple of weeks since that presentation with the NJSLA scores, and I wanted to find out if there's been any follow-up in researching why our scores are so low and what we are going to actually do to remedy that. Thank you.
Thank you. Vin?
That is it on my list. Would
Thank you.
anybody else like to speak?
Administrators and board members will respond afterward. I'd like to make a motion to close public comments. Do I have a second? Kathleen, any discussion? I see none. All in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Would anyone from the board or the administration like to make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
How you doing, Mr. Friedman? Can you hear me? Okay. So the first question, how much for rental income? So Champions, I believe, has been here way before I was here from the 1920 school year. We receive anywhere up between $26,000, which was during COVID, all the way up to the max I've ever seen is $60,000. Now, most of that income is used to offset the cost of the facility usage. So whether it be utilities, custodial services, that money is utilized throughout the year to cover that. Now that's a disparaging number compared to what was given to us by the township. So the amount that I gave you back in May was based off of the current officers we had at an overtime rate, because we were implying that the existing officers would be used to cover before and after because they're in the building already. That was not something that the township was able to agree to. So what we did was we asked them to create a new proposal for us. And that $800,000 figure is directly from the township's proposal that was given to us based, I believe, using a $30 rate for Class 3 officers. The first time cost is a lot higher because the township includes a lot of things such as fringe benefits, first time equipment, which is a one-time cost, vehicles, because they just necessarily don't have the man or woman power or the equipment to staff another full unit just to cover before and after care. And then it dips to $500,000 for year 2 to 5, and then year 6 is when you start to revolve those equipment costs and those one-time costs again. So that's where those figures came from. We didn't make up those figures. They were given to us by the township. We have been in contact with the other township about that program. That's not something that's just a fly-by-night program that can just happen by just the drop of a hat. That's something that needs to take considering planning, because their model is a lot different from ours since we use a private firm to do that. So there's a couple options that we can explore. We would have to partner with the township to try to create something that would be able to be sustainable going forward, or there's always the sense of trying to find a different private vendor to offer us with that extra layer of security, but that always comes with a cost as well, because the private vendor is not going to come in here unless you can guarantee a certain minimum of families that's going to join, and they're willing to pay whatever that service may be with the additional cost on top of it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I just had a question for,
Go.
Vinny, why does the number differ, like the 26 to 60,000? I'm assuming that's what they pay.
That year was a
COVID.
COVID year, so that was when the building was half being used, half not.
We weren't here.
We were not here in the building. There was 3 months, I believe, in 2021 where the schools were actually closed.
Oh, okay, so, I see what you're saying. So
So we
one
wouldn't
year
have no
when it
rental.
was partially being used, it was 26,000?
Yeah, on a normal school year, it's anywhere from 50 to 60,000 that we receive as facility rental income from them.
50 to 60,000 on average, okay.
And Mr. Friedman, this board is not done discussing what you are asking. So even tonight, we're going to go again into closed session and talk about the survey and talk about options moving forward. I understand that you're passionate, as many people are. It's just not as simple as stopping what we're doing in the moment to create a whole new program. It would take a ton of planning, which none of us up here, from myself included, we're not going to shy away from if that's the board's wishes. So just to, I feel like sometimes the concept is that we're not listening and that we're not hearing you and we're not valuing you. That's absolutely not the case. If the board wishes to move in a different direction, then that's what we'll do.
And if the board does choose to go in a model that other townships are modeling, it's not just going to take, one party to develop the whole terms and agree to them. It's going to take,
A village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think, I'm not sure how this would be laid out, but I think that, just a recommendation, if we could, like if we know we're going to be discussing this in closed session, I think it might be beneficial to maybe have the mayor and the chief of police join us for a closed session meeting where maybe the board can sit down and we can all try and discuss it. And you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think we'd get a lot more done if we were able to have everyone sitting at a table together just working at it. It's just my recommendation. If we can set that up, I think that it'd probably benefit the district greatly.
I mean, ultimately, though, we'd have to have the town council included in that meeting because,
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to not just be the chief of police and the mayor, because the town council also can, I think, weigh in on that. But my question, my question was,
This would actually have to be a huge joint effort, because
yeah,
this proposal was given to us on behalf of what the township would do to install security in a program such as this. So if you were to do it a different way and still rely on the township, I don't believe these costs are really going to change that much, because this is the way Marlboro presents, additional measures of security, and that I have no control over.
Right, yeah, no, I understand that you don't have control over it, and I'm not implying that at all. I just think that if we can get everyone under one roof around one table, instead of, sending you back to talk to them and then wait another month, we could get a lot more done if we all just sit around the table and discuss it.
Can I ask a question, though, about the idea of, I guess, why haven't we looked at that other model? But when people bid for that, right? It's a program. Has Marlboro, unlike, I guess, Old Bridge,
bid for it and got it, right, within their district. So.
Well, Old Bridge's
has-
program is directly with the township, so.
Right, but has the township ever come to us and submitted something that said, hey, take a look at us to run the program? Have we ever had that experience? Or now, because I'm hearing like we're supposed to go out and ask them to submit a bid, have they ever on their own submitted a bid and we've not picked them? Does anybody know?
Necessarily, you could go out to bid for something like that, but this would really be like a shared service, joint effort kind of thing, where it would really
You
just be
wouldn't have
a
to
shared service agreement with the township, and then in that agreement would stipulate clauses of who's responsible for what.
Right, no, because my question would be, like, when we say it's a not-for-profit, is it Old Bridge School District or Old Bridge Township that's running it?
Township.
Township's
Township.
recreational department is running
Okay.
the program.
Okay, so
But I
it's
guess
their-
the different, I'm thinking like, did Old Bridge Township come to the Old Bridge School District and say, hey, we want to run this program and create the partnership? Because in this sense, I think the township hasn't raised their hand to say, hey, we want to run this program. And now we're kind of going to them saying, hey, we might want you to run this program. I just didn't know if we had a history there that precedes me.
I think it's a 20-year history-ish. They've had this partnership for a very, very long time.
Old Bridge?
Yes.
What about Marlboro?
No, I don't think there's ever been any conversations.
I mean, how long has Champion's been here? I know since you've been.
I mean, it predates me.
Yeah, my daughter's
Mr.
a
Lonsky
senior
could
in
probably tell you.
college. Yeah, Michael, I mean, because I know my daughter's a senior in college, and when she started, it was Champions.
I mean, a few years prior
Sorry.
to me, I think, is when I think Champions came.
Okay. I mean, do we get a lot of people bidding to run the program? Like when we go out, does like multiple
last time bid?
people?
I mean, I haven't done a bid
I
since
know we
I've been
have
here.
bid
We're on. So what was
parameters.
approved in May was the 6th Amendment to the contract, which was allowed in the original agreement. Mr. Friedman voiced concern with the Champions program. That was really the first concern that we've been brought with for that program. So there was never any need to change. We just kept renewing the amendments because we felt it was a sustainable program. But now, since concern has been brought up, and it's to the board level, and we discuss with the board what we want to do. We can always go out to RFP to see what else is out there and add any type of specification you would want. But again, these companies are operating on making money off of tuition. So if you can't guarantee the enrollment or the families based off of what we're asking for them to charge those families for the security, they may not want to do it because they need to guarantee a certain amount of families.
Does Champions have a guarantee right now, like a minimum?
Well, they have a guarantee stipulated in our, for us, I believe it's around 50. That's what the guarantee normally is in a school year. But I know they have a guarantee as well as far as families, or they start,
Closing schools.
closing programs at certain schools or consolidating programs.
Okay. I guess that was also my question. As I go down the lane of what could happen, what could be the unintended consequence of certain decisions, is it possible that the town people of the town of Marlboro could lose a before and after care program if we can't get anybody outside of Champions and then we don't award Champions, or Champions says, I don't want to play here anymore, I'm not going to do business with Marlboro? I mean, is that possible? I guess it's possible, but
I mean,
is it
Anything
probable?
is possible, but if they're making money,
Yeah.
why would they?
We would have to move with purpose. I think that everybody up here would agree that safety is so important for our students and our staff. With that, we have to have discussions in closed session so that we can really hammer out where we go for next year and hopefully avoid unintended consequences, because I don't think anybody up here would also want us to lose our childcare for the 423-ish children and 321 families.
Right.
Because that would be, it would be a hardship for them as well.
Right,
So
right.
I think what we should do is go into executive and talk about this and then next steps, and you can task us as you see fit.
I just had a question as far as Champions with their, like the way that their contract, is it a multi-year? Is it renewed every year? Like, how does that work?
There's amendments in the contract which you can renew. There's also, clauses in which you do not have to renew. So those are all things that are stipulated in the agreement.
So we don't, we don't like renew their contract each year, it just.
You do on the board agenda. It was in the previous May, it was on.
Okay, so every May it comes up for renewal for the next school year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We absolutely will not put this on an agenda without discussions with you. You don't have to worry about us.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to understand, like, I didn't know, like, you know, I'm just trying to understand the contract, how it works, so.
You're right, Vin?
Yeah, all contracts, all agreements usually get brought to the board to approve before we act on anything.
I think this one goes to June, is it June 30, Vin?
Yes.
Okay.
It's approved
Quick
to June
question.
30.
So June 30th,
Jess?
and then they don't do anything over the summer, right, or do they?
No, I don't think.
Sometimes-
Nothing with that kind of childcare, no.
Okay.
No, they usually have summer camp, something like that, but that's an elective that parents choose to do.
Okay.
Gotcha, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Friedman said that the first survey that came out about safety was with this letter that asked about increase of fees. Were there any surveys that were sent this year or the last year or the year before that asking parents about their levels of safety with the Champions program?
Yes, we mirrored the exact same question from the Gallup survey that Champions asks annually. I think it was for the last 5, 6, 7 years. Of the survey? Yeah, we're talking about an executive. Yeah. Where we are right now anyway. Still coming in, but about 71% people responded.
Excellent. Vin, you're good?
Yep.
Mike or Eric or any other board member?
I'll jump in just for the first part, and Mike, you can take the last. We actually do not track, as a district, teachers on who goes to the NJAA convention. I have absolutely never heard of the Drag Queen Story Hour, and there's been no mention of it being used in this district whatsoever. No idea. SEL, I believe you're talking about Castle, and Mike, I'll turn it to you for scores.
Yeah, Mrs. Deckerman, I can forward you a link. We don't use, as a practice, we don't use canned programs. What we do is we use resources from some of those programs. So I will certainly provide you with a link to our website. You can look there and then read for yourself. And if you have any other further questions, you can certainly reach out to me.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Would something like, I never heard of the drag queen thing that you had mentioned, but would something like that need to be approved prior to like taking place?
I for sure hope so.
Okay. I'm just double check. I just wanted to, I was hoping that was the answer. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. That is absolutely not something that we would condone in any way, shape, or form. It's absolutely nowhere in our curriculum. So I think, sometimes we have conversations of what happened if a teacher would use a certain resource. I really hope, and I don't know what it is, so I can't even speak on it. I mean, I only know what was said, so I don't know any other context. But, if at times a staff member uses a questionable resource, then we would have to address that. But I don't think that one's been on the radar at all.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good question, yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to be moving into executive session resolution. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, the Marlboro Township Board of Education shall conduct a closed executive session pursuant to the exceptions prescribed by NJSA 10:4-12 for the purpose of discussing matters of attorney-client privilege and safety, school security and safety. It is anticipated that the length of time of the executive session will be about 40.
I'd say
30. I'm going to do 40 minutes, and that action will be taken in public after the. Well, will not be taken. Action will not be taken in public after the executive session. Be it further resolved that the minutes of the executive session will be released when the need for confidentiality in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12 no longer applies. I am making a motion to go into executive session. Can I get a second? Christina, Jill, anybody? No, it doesn't matter. Any discussion?
Nope.
Okay, guys, I will see you. Well, actually,
Happy
all in favor say.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
All of us say
Aye.
aye. No.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.